Hello friends, myself Mr. Sunil Devkar, Head Department of English, Rao Bahadur Narendra Boroke College, Rampur. Today I am going to deal with the topic, what is communication? So everyone is familiar with this topic, communication, but exactly when this question is been asked, what is communication? Generally student says a dialogue between two persons. But I would say it is beyond that. It is not a dialogue between only two persons or more than two persons. It is beyond that. So I am going to deal with this point in a detailed manner. What exactly do you mean communication? So initially, everyone should know that this word communication, it came from a Latin word, which means communis means what? To share or belonging to all. Share means what? Share information. So you can, communis, that as I have told you, it is a Latin word, it means to share or belonging to all. Next I will turn to the definition of communication. What is a simple plain definition of communication? Communication is transformation of information or ideas or thoughts from one person to another person or group of persons, and at the same time it should be acted upon. I will just repeat the definition again. Communication is transformation of information or ideas or thoughts from one person to another person or group of persons, and at the same time it should be understood and acted upon. If you come to the gist of this definition, three things they are important. First, what is communication? It is exchange of thoughts or ideas. Whenever we discuss with each other, there is a subject. Without subject, there cannot be a dialogue with each other. So there is always, that means a subject, and that thought is been exchanged. It might be a thought or idea. It is been exchanged between two persons. There should be a dialogue. We may also call that means a monologue. It cannot become a communication. Yes, communicating with self, it cannot become communication. So that is an introspection, I would say. But at least for communication, two persons they are needed. And this is a continuous process. It is not, you can say, a one-way process. It is not only a one-way process, it is a two-way process. So that means there should be exchange of thoughts. Secondly, whatever the message which has been communicated, it should be understood by both persons, by the sender also and by the receiver also. So it is the duty of, I would not say the duty, but whenever we are communicating, that means both persons, they should understand each other. And lastly, action is also important. So I'll just give you one example. If in a classroom, all the students they are sitting, I told one of the pupil, Sham, please stand up. Go to the staff room and bring chalk and duster. What is this? This is my message to that boy in the classroom who is Sham. I have told him, go to the staff room and bring chalk and duster. So that is my message to Sham. Secondly, if he understands, comprehension means what? Understanding. If he understands my message, what he will do? He will stand up. He will go to the classroom, he will take 2 or 3 chalks and a duster, and he will come back. What is it? It is the action. Then it is completed. So these three things, they are important in communication. Exchange of thoughts, secondly comprehension or understanding we may say, and lastly it is the action, how you respond or your feedback. So then and then only the communication it completes. Another example I would give you, if any South Indian, if he comes here and if he starts speaking in Malayalam, and all the listeners, they are Maharashtrians, they know either Marathi, Hindi or English, and if that person, if he comes in the classroom and if he starts speaking in Malayalam, who can understand? No one can understand. I'll tell you my own experience. I was attending one faculty development program. So that means a person, the resource person, he started speaking in Malayalam. I could not understand anything. That means there we may say there the communication, it is not completed. It should be translated with proper transcreation. Then the message, it could be understood in a proper manner. So what is it? We should experience. So what is communication? It is also an experience. Whenever we are talking with each other, there is exchange of those thoughts, and those thoughts, they should be communicated in a proper manner, so that those two, that it is an attachment, it is a bonding, it is a lifetime bonding, I would say. How long you keep your communication, you can say, it also matters. It can between two friends, how long that friendship it lasts. If the communication stops, I would say relation breaks, and that means the relation, it also breaks, and there is a failure. So there is a failure. So whenever we are communicating, it should be in a proper manner. The second person or the next person, he should also understand in a proper manner. And in communication, I would also say there should be loyalty. There should be loyalty in your communication. So when there is loyalty, the next person will trust you, and it will continue in that manner. So next I would say, how it will help us? It will help us in professional dealing. Communication, generally, where do we communicate? We communicate either in our home or in office. So that means formal or informal communication. Formal communication, it is an official communication, and informal communication, it is among our friends. It is among our friends or in family. At that level, what naturally happens? So at that level, so who is, that means your personality. Communication is a part of our personality. When we say you should develop your personality, communication, it plays a very significant role. I would say around 40% it is reflected through your communication. So that means communication is just not speaking words. In communication, many different factors, they are connected to communication, I would say. So that means all these factors, they are reflected in what? In your professional life also, and at the other side, in your personal dealing also, you can say. Next, you can say, as I have already told you, in communication, at least minimum, I would say 2 persons, they are needed. Further, I will turn to process of communication. What exactly is process of communication? So, TX, it means transmitter. Transmitter, or you may also call him as sender. So, this person, TX, it also means who? He is also sender. On RX means he is also a receiver. He is also a receiver. Sender and receiver. If here in a classroom, I am the transmitter or I am the sender, and the students who are listeners, they are who? They are the receivers. They are the receivers. If I deliver a lecture of 30 minutes, I am transmitting my thought or my idea about my lecture or about my topic. At the other side, the students, how do they respond? Who are they? They are the receivers. They are the receivers. How do they receive my message? I should try to analyze. I should try to take what? Feedback. So feedback, how I can take feedback of the students? In between, I should ask certain questions. So if I am speaking for 10 minutes, after that, I should ask some questions to them. Or before turning to the topic, I would ask some brainstorming questions, you can say. So likewise, if I am a commerce teacher, if I am asking them, Do you know the term share market? What is share market? What do you know? That means what do you know about inflation, deflation? So you can say I should get acquainted with their current knowledge, and so that that means it is like an ice breaking session to know what is the topic about. So initially you can start with that manner. Whenever you are delivering a lecture, their nodding of their head is also what, are they with you? That means in between, if you ask questions, are they responding to you or not? Next, I would say how much attentive they are in the classroom. It also, that means it also reflects their interest in the classroom. So in that manner, I may take feedback. By other way, you may also say, you have passed your school, that means before 20 years, you have taken your high school education, but before 20 years, I would say. So now, after 20 years, still some of your friends, they are connected to you. So you might be in a hostel, and now you are at different places, but still you are connected to your friends. How you are connected to your friends? The medium of communication, it might be different. It might be telephonic communication. Nowadays, postal, it has decreased. Instead of that, we may say through email, through chat box, WhatsApp, Twitter, whatever it might be. How you are connected to your friends, it is also a medium of communication. So, how long you communicate, that means it reflects how you maintain relation. How you maintain relation, what is your wavelength with your friends, with your teachers, with your colleagues, with your people in the society, with the people in your village, so with your family, with your relatives, with your cousins. So in a different manner, that means it reflects what kind of your attitude is there and how you are connected to people. So I would say a person who is expressive, naturally, he is what? That means when you express your thoughts or emotions, that means that expression itself, it reflects that you are a good communicator. How you explain other, that means one should not be an introvert person, I would say. One should be able to express our thoughts and feelings. All the poets, I would say the writers, they are expressive. Whatever they have, that means their thoughts, they are converted into literature. But at least we as a human being, we should be able to communicate with the people and gather people around us. And that's why when we speak about communication as a two-way process here, both the transmitter and receiver, both of them, they are important. So when the transmitter, he sends message to the receiver, or he is having a dialogue with the receiver, it is called as encoding. Encoding, that means sending message from transmitter to receiver. It is called as encoding. And when the receiver responds to the speaker, it is called as decoding. We may also call it as a feedback. And that's why communication is a continuous process. It is a continuous process, or it is a two-way process. Why? That means two-way. First the transmitter and second the receiver, and that's why it is called as two-way process. Now I will turn to what are the different types of communication. So communication, I would say, that means whenever we communicate, two things, what is that? We have already dealt with the definition of communication. Further, we may say the types of communication, it can be divided into two types of communication: verbal communication and non-verbal communication. So what is the difference between verbal and non-verbal communication? Verbal communication means where the language is used. Whenever you are communicating, where the language is used, it is called as verbal communication. So just I am repeating again, where we use language, it is called as verbal communication, and we use language either in oral communication or written communication. So either in oral or written communication, we use language. So that's why it is called as verbal communication. So where we use language, it is called as verbal communication, and at the other side, where we don't use language, but instead of language, what we use signs, symbols, maps, graphs, charts, colors, sounds. So all this, they come under the heading of what? Non-verbal communication, and we can communicate either visually or oral communication. Visual communication means what? The things which we see by our eyes and we react, it is called as visual communication. So just I am repeating again. So the things which we see by our eyes and without language we communicate, it is called as visual communication. And at the other side, oral communication means the things which we hear by our ears and we react, it is called as oral communication. So I'll deal one by one. So verbal communication at one side. First of all, oral communication. So where we use language in an oral form or in a spoken form, we call it as oral communication. So the different examples, generally you can say the most, how we can differentiate between oral and written. Oral communication, whenever a person who is speaking face to face, he is easy to understand, he is easy to comprehend. So there is easy way of understanding as compared to written communication. Written communication is also in a draft form. It is a documentary form. It is a documentary form. So examples of oral communication. What are the different examples or the mediums which we use in oral communication? Here in a sense, likewise, face-to-face communication. Second example, I would give interviews, an interview panel. In an interview panel, you are giving an interview of a clerk or a teacher. At that time, 5-6 persons, they might be sitting in a semicircle manner. They are asking you different questions. That interview, it might start with your personal information, subject knowledge, and finally conclusion. So it is a part of what? It is a part of oral communication. Chit chat, chatting with each other. Telephonic communication, it is also oral communication. Meeting, that means any meeting which has been arranged or conducted by the board of directors or college development committee, whatever it might be. So when a meeting has been called, so likewise that meeting, that means it is it is also face-to-face communication, discussing different issues. There are different issues, whatever they are on the agenda, they are being discussed, and finally there is a common consensus among the committee members, and in that manner the meeting, it can become successful. That is called as a meeting. Next we may say group discussion. So in a group discussion also, minimum 3 members there should be there in a group discussion. Between 2 people it is a dialogue, but in group discussion the strength, it should be more +3. It might go to 10, 3 to 10. It is the standard, I would say, not more. If there is the number, if it is more than 8 to 10, it cannot become a group discussion, I would say. Then it would become a chaos. So whatever, that means there at that time, what is important in group discussion? So likewise, all the members, they should come at one common consensus. Then a person, he can become successful. That is the example of group discussion. Then we may also give that, as I have already told you, meeting, group discussion, chit-chatting. These are the examples of what? These are the interviews. These are the examples of oral communication. At the other side, written communication. Written communication we may call as a letter. So we have all letter, it is a common format. Now the letter, it has been replaced by email, electronic mail, which we send. So as we know, letters, they might be formal or informal letter. Then next we may say minutes. Before that I would say agenda. Agenda, that means whatever the points which we are going to discuss in a meeting, we call it as agenda. And after discussion of those agenda in a meeting, They are written in a minutes form. They are written in a minutes form. Minutes, they are also, what are the form? It is also kind of written communication. A book, a poem which has been in a written form. It is, that means all those collection, newspapers, we may say, all they come under the heading of what? Written communication at the other side. So, likewise, we should know when we say, that means summary writing. Summary writing, so we should be able to know under what heading does it comes. Later I would turn to non-verbal communication. As I have already told you, wherever we don't use language, it is called as non-verbal communication. And visually we can communicate. So with our eyes, when we see without using language, we call it as visual communication. So what are those different? I will just give you one by one examples. So whenever we communicate visually, we may also give example of what? Colors. Colors, different colors. If you see a cylinder, gas cylinder, the color of that gas cylinder, what color it is given? Red color. What does red color it signifies? Red color, it signifies danger. Black color, it signifies what? Death. I would say white color, it signifies purity. White color, that means there is also a religious bias at that same. If you see in Christian religion, during marriage, the costume which a bride she wears, like what is the color? It is white. But in Hindu religion, when a person is dead, the cloth which has been kept, it is white. That means the religious connotations, they also play different roles in case of colors, and colors, they are also significant. If you go by a road, the different color, that means the signal in the square of a road, red color, what does it indicate? To stop for that vehicle. So you see the red color, the driver, that means what is the message which has been given to the driver? That signal is the transmitter and the receiver is the driver. When he see the color, red color, naturally he stops. And when you see the green color, that means to go ahead. So that means, then next we may also comment on the symbols. If you see in a map, different symbols they have been used. For road, a different symbol. For a bridge, the different symbol. For a curve, there is a different symbol. For a fort, there is a different symbol. For railway station, for trees, so for any monument, different symbols they have been used. So what is it used in the form of a language? No, it is a symbol, it is a sign, it is in a form of a color. So through that also we can communicate. So we see by our eyes, but the language is not used there. So that is what? That is visual communication. So that is visual communication without using language. So there are n number of examples we can give whenever we see by our eyes and we react. So maps, charts, graphs, so all those, they come under the heading of what? Visual communication, I would say. And next, when we say oral communication, the things which we hear by our eyes. So here we cannot say music or lyric. Lyric, they have a word. So likewise, someone might play a song, that means national anthem on a violin or on a harmonium. But it comes under the heading of what? Oral communication. When we say oral, it means ears. Here visual, as I have already told you, eyes. So when we deal with oral communication, ears. Whatever we hear by our ears and we react. So the best example we may say, we may give example of bell. Starting and ending of a period, it is indicated by what? By bell. So the watchman or the peon, whenever he gives bell, it is specifically on the time. At 8 a.m. it might be, that means starting of a lecture. At 8:45 ending of the lecture. He will not ring the bell after every 5 minutes. So there is a message which is being given by that bell. So that we should try to understand. Then next secondly we may give example of a horn. A driver, when he blows horn, what does it signify? To give side. One vehicle is ahead, you blow horn. What is the message? To give side. That means the next driver, he should give side to the next person. Horn we may say. Then next we may also give the example of siren on ambulance. what is there? There is a siren. So blowing of that siren, what does that means? There is an emergency. So that message is what? Please give side. So that someone patient is there in that ambulance and the other should give side to that vehicle. So this is different. Even if you see in the tribal community in forest. So when that means in the community, what do we see? These tribal people, when they are being attacked by any wild animal, they are beating the drum. The beating of the drum, what does it indicate? Some wild animal, he has attacked on certain person, or to make the people aware, for that person purpose, we see blowing or you can say beating of that drum beat, you can say. So these examples we may relate to oral communication, we may say. Next I would say, beyond that, beyond visual and oral communication, we may also we can communicate through senses. So we say senses. Senses are also, that means here at one side I have told you what is communication, but other side when we see other than oral, written, visual, oral communication, we also communicate through senses. So how we can communicate through senses? I would say the feeling of touch. A small boy, he comes running whenever you are sitting, and from back side he closes your eyes. It is a feeling of touch. It is a feeling of touch. So that awareness, you can say, that means it is also what that communication. It is related to touch. Next, I would say hearing. Smelling. Smell. What does it means? If any person in kitchen, if in the kitchen, someone, your mother, she might be frying omelette. The smell of omelette, or any, you can say that we come to know what kind of item is been cooking in the kitchen. That smell is also what? A sense of communication. It is also a sense of communication. Taste. That means your tongue, in a sense. If you close your eyes, if you place different items, rasgulla, it is sweet. At the other side, if chili is being placed on your tongue, it's that means the taste we feel. So the taste we feel. That means, then next, eyes. Eyes, how you look at the person. If you look angrily, that small kid, he'll also understand. So he will also understand your the way in which you look naturally. Are you looking angrily, or are you looking affectionately? So through that also, there is also communication. And in all these things, what is much more important? Your body language, it plays a very significant role. In non-verbal communication, I would say, what are the other things which are very important? Your eye contact. You should be able to maintain proper eye contact. So generally it has been said, whenever you are communicating with people, how you should look? You should look above shoulder level. Above shoulder level. So if you are looking up and down to any person, that means it has different connotation of meaning. So whenever you are communicating, look in the eyes of the next person. If I am conducting a lecture, at one side girls they are sitting and other side boys they are sitting. So I should not look only at one side. I should, that means my eye, it should be holistic. I should look at every boys and girls from all sides, to all sides, so that I may feel comfortable. The students, they should also feel comfortable. Eye contact. Then next, your body language, how you speak. That means whenever you are speaking, generally it has been told, don't point your fingers. So when you point a finger at anyone, what does it mean? That means your dictatorship, it is reflected. Don't point finger. Whenever you are speaking, your arm should be open. Your arm should be open. That means you are, what does it mean? You are willingly giving everything. Open-mindedly you are giving everything. Whenever you are sitting, table manners, I would say. Whenever you are sitting on the table, how you should sit? You should not sit on your elbow. If you are sitting on your elbow and eating the food, it is also bad manner. So how you should take your food, how you should speak, the way of your walking. Whenever you are walking, you should that means walk in a straight manner. If you are, that means if I start walking like this, it will look shabby. So everything, your walking style, your speaking style, your body language, you may say, that means this non-verbal communication, it plays a very significant role in communication. And if you maintain all this in a proper manner, it will help you in both ways. What in both ways means what? In your professional life at one side, in the office, you can become a good communicator, you can maintain a healthy relationship, and you can become a symbol of progress. And whenever you are in the family members or with your friends, you will be popular among them also. So that double attitude, you can say, it will help you to become a successful person. And that's why communication, it is a very important role. There might be certain barriers in communication. So we should also be able to overcome. As I have told you, how you can overcome those barriers. You should be able to overcome in what manner? So that means you should be open. That means you should not maintain partial and impartial attitude. So you should be totally impartial to everyone. So for whenever you are in a classroom, all the students, they are one to me. He might be clever. All the students, they cannot be clever. Or all the students, some might be in mediocre or low. But we should treat them, everyone, in one. That means their attitude, it should be equal to everyone. And when you are successful in maintaining all those things, it helps to maintain proper communication and proper relations with every person. So that was what I wanted to give a brief information about communication. Thank you.